You can get shiny Cutiefly and Ribombee for the first time in Pokemon Go during the Dazzling Dream event, and in this video I will be going through all of the event details, event tips, Pokemon worth catching, raids worth raiding and more. The event runs from January 13th at 10 AM till January 16th at 8 PM local time. The bonuses for the event will be 2x Stardust for catching Pokemon and 2x Stardust for hatching Pokemon. The wild encounters will be Clefairy, Jigglypuff, Marill, Snubbull, Cottony, Red Flabébé if you're in Europe, the Middle East or Africa, Blue Flabébé if you're in the Asia Pacific region, or Yellow Flabébé if you're in the Americas. There will also be Spritzee, Swirlix, Dedenne, Cutiefly which is the new shiny for the event, Morlul, and rare spawns Togetic and White and Orange Flabébé. In 7km eggs will be Togepi, Spritzee, Swirlix and Cutiefly. And it is good to note here that Cutiefly hatched from these eggs will have a greater chance of being shiny than those found in the wild. So if you are trying to get the new shiny, then it's well worth hatching these eggs. In field research will be Alolan Vulpix, Spritzee, Swirlix, Cutiefly and rarely Mawile and Carbink. There will also be some research tasks that will get you Mega Energy for Gardevoir and Altaria. There will be a collection challenge rewarding XP, Stardust and an encounter with Carbink. There will also be a Cutiefly mask avatar item available in the shop and a $2 timed research that will get you 2 premium battle passes, XP, Stardust, 2 star pieces and event themed encounters. So that's it for the details. Let's have a look at some tips that can help you make the most of this event. So Stardust is a very valuable resource in Pokemon Go. It allows you to power up your Pokemon for raid attacking and for Go Battle League. And with both of the bonuses for the event being Stardust bonuses, this will be a great event to use your star pieces, which will further increase your hatch and catch Stardust. With that said, it is worth noting that Morlul will be a common spawn throughout the event, and it is a Stardust boosted Pokemon, meaning it will give 500 Stardust per catch. This will be 625 in sunny or cloudy weather, and if you happen to be using star pieces, it will be 938 Stardust per Morlul catch. This is almost 10 times the amount of Stardust you get per regular catch. With the increased hatch Stardust, it is a good time to be hatching eggs. A tip for getting some big Stardust from hatching eggs will be to load up 12 12km eggs and get them close to hatching before the event starts. Then when the event starts, you can use your star pieces and hatch them all at the same time to get a big amount of Stardust. 12km eggs will be the best for this because they do give the most amount of Stardust, being the longer distance egg. Remember, to get 12km eggs, you have to beat Team Go Rocket Cliff, Arlo or Sierra with an open egg slot to receive the 12km eggs. So it would take a lot of preparation to get 12km eggs ready to hatch, but if you are serious about maximizing your Stardust gains, then this will be useful. And whilst the 7km eggs will be the target for many because of the boosted shiny Cutiefly, you can only get these eggs with the event egg pool and shiny rates after the event starts, so you could incubate these event eggs after you've hatched the 12km eggs. With hatching eggs being more rewarding for this event, it might be a good time for you to work on your Platinum Breeder medal, because remember, you do need 35 Platinum medals to get to level 49. So when it comes to XP, there are no specific bonuses for the event, but if you still want to grind XP, then I would recommend using lucky eggs, aiming for excellent throws and utilizing quick catching. This way you can get as much XP as possible within the time limit of the lucky eggs. So for maximizing candy, I would recommend using Pinap Berries, and you can also Mega Evolve a Pokemon of the same type as the Pokemon you are catching to get more candy, Candy XL and XP per catch. And being a fairy type event, you can Mega Evolve a fairy type like Gardevoir, Altaria or Diancie to receive these bonuses. I do recommend Mega Evolving a Pokemon you have at max Mega level because you will get more bonuses than a Pokemon at base or high Mega level. There is also another way to maximize your candy gains from this event. On the last day of the event on January 16th, routes will have a spotlight hour at 6 PM, and the bonus for the event will be 2x transfer candy. So if there are any Pokemon specifically that you want candy for from the Dazzling Dream event, then you could save them all in your inventory, tag them and mass transfer them during this spotlight hour. This will also be a good time to transfer any extra legendaries you have lying around to get double candy for them. It's also worth noting that if you are trying to get your Fairy Tail Girl Platinum medal, then this event will be the best time to do it. It's well worth getting these Platinum type catch medals, not only for the level 49 requirements, but also because leveling them up increases your catch rate for that type of Pokemon. So there is a paid research for this event, but is it worth buying? So $2 isn't actually that bad for 2 raid passes, 2 star pieces, as well as some extras like XP, Stardust and event encounters in terms of value. Having said that, it isn't really anything special, and you might even find yourself a better deal from the bundles in the in-game shop or the web store. So with that said, which Pokemon are actually worth catching during this event? So Clefairy will be spawning, and Clefable is actually a decent Pokemon in the Ultra League, being ranked 54. Jigglypuff will be available, and if you didn't manage to get a good one from the recent New Year's event, then it's worth getting one if you can, because Wigglytuff is decent in the Great League, being ranked 88. Marill is definitely worth picking up because Azumarill is one of the best Pokemon in the Great League, being ranked 14. Snubbull is another notable spawn, with Granbull being a top 10 Fairy type raid attacker and one of the best Fairy type raid attackers in its shadow form, so it might be worth getting some candy for that. So Flabebe will be spawning, and this is one of the higher priority Pokemon because Florges is a strong Fairy type raid attacker, and it's also ranked 47 in the Ultra League and 16 in the Master League, so it's definitely worth trying to get a high IV Florges for Master League, with it being one of the more accessible Pokemon for the Master League, with most of the top Pokemon being legendaries and shadows. So with Cutiefly being the new shiny for the event, it might be worth going after if you are a shiny hunter, but other than that, it doesn't have any meta relevance in Pokemon Go. And like I said previously, Morlul is always worth catching if you see it because it does give 500 base Stardust per catch. Togetic will be a rare spawn for the event and well worth catching if you see any because Togekiss is a top 5 Fairy type raid attacker and it's decent in the Master League, being ranked 81. In 7km eggs, Togepi will be a good hatch because of the Togekiss meta relevance. And if you're hunting shiny Cutiefly, these eggs will be a great way to do it with the boosted shiny rates, which I imagine are probably around 1 in 125 or 1 in 64 if we're lucky. These rates are just my speculation and they're not confirmed. Alolan Vulpix will be in field research and it's worth going after for PvP because Alolan Ninetales is decent in the Great League, being ranked 97 and ranked 88 in the Ultra League. So Mawile will be available rarely from field research and it doesn't really have any meta relevance, although it does have a mega form coming in the future at some point. Carbink will also be a rare field research encounter and it is one of the best Pokemon in the Great League, being ranked 6, so definitely worth picking up for the Great League if you can get it. It's also good to note, like I mentioned before, Routes has a spotlight hour on the last day of the Dazzling Dream event on January 16th, and Routes is a great Pokemon to be catching because Mega Gardevoir is the best Fairy type raid attacker in the game, followed by Shadow Gardevoir, and regular Gardevoir is in the top 10 Fairy type raid attackers as well, so well worth trying to get a high IV Routes from this event for Mega Evolution, and it's good to use Pinap Berries and Mega Evolution to try and get as much candy as you can. Gardevoir is also ranked 130 in the Master League and 89 in its shadow form, so it could be an option for Master League if you haven't got anything better. Routes' other evolution, Gallade, also has a Mega Evolution coming at some point in the future. So these are the Pokemon worth catching during the event, but which raids are worth raiding? So in 5-star raids during this event will be Therian form Tornadus with its legacy move Bleak Wind Storm. This Pokemon isn't relevant for Go Battle League, but with Bleak Wind Storm it will be a top 10 non-Mega and Shadow flying type attacker. In Mega raids will be Mega Medicham, and whilst it doesn't have any meta relevance itself, Medicham is one of the best Pokemon in the Great League, being ranked 10. Although it does want PvP IVs of 5, 15, 15, which would require trading to get because of the 10, 10, 10 IV floor of raids. So in 1-star Shadow raids for the event, Shadow Machop would be worth going after because Shadow Machamp is one of the best fighting type raid attackers and it's decent in PvP, being ranked 36 in the Great League, 70 in the Ultra League and 91 in the Master League. In 3-star Shadow raids it is worth looking out for Sableye if you're looking for a purified Sableye for Great League, which is ranked 41 currently. Shadow Houndour is also in 3-star Shadow raids and it could be worth raiding to purify for a Mega Houndoom because it is a strong dark type raid attacker and a decent fire type raid attacker. And in 5-star Shadow raids during the event and for the rest of the month will be Shadow Moltres, which will only be available on Saturday and Sunday. Shadow Moltres is worth raiding if you can because it is one of the best fire type raid attackers. It is a shadow raid so it has to be done in person, but it is possible that you can do this with 2 people. As well as the Dazzling Dream event, there are other events going on in January, but are they worth playing? If you want to know more about these events and you want some tips to help you make the most of them, then check out these videos next.